Hi everyone, I'm WABC Chief Meteorologist Lee Goldberg, and this is Weather or Not, sponsored by TD Bank. We are talking about a wicked wind behind the light snowfall on Monday, a frigid few days ahead, and another risk of snow that will hit us on Saturday. More on that in a moment. Central Park received just under an inch of snow from Monday's event, so since December 1st, we're nearly at 4 inches for the winter. That's a little below our average of about 6 inches. Then our next chance will be on Saturday. This is a close call. You may already be seeing some snow charts or maps that are posted on social media with major snow totals. Not to be taken seriously just yet. We don't know if we're going to see a full phase between the northern jet and the subtropical jet and start seeing a major storm that comes close enough to us to deliver big snowfall totals. I do think, at least initially, there'll be some interaction, so I think Saturday will be unsettled. But we are not locked into major snow totals just yet. It's not off the table, but right now I'm just not seeing that everything's in line just yet for that to happen. Meanwhile, we had enough of we were at least close enough to the northern fringe of the storm that brought 1.5 feet of snow to parts of the plains, 5 to 8 inches to the D.C. area, up to 9 inches across the Delmarva, 0.5 foot of snow south of Atlantic City. Well, we were on the northern fringe of that, so Freehold got about 2 inches of snow, central New Jersey about an inch, even northwest New Jersey 0.5 inch to an inch. Even parts of the Hudson Valley got a slippery coating with about 1/3 of an inch during the midday and early afternoon hours. And you can see all the snow reports from New Jersey down to the Baltimore, D.C. area, and some of the snowfall totals. For instance, how about Cape May coming in over 8 inches of snowfall, and areas around D.C. again in that 5 to 8 inch totals, and even some double-digit totals over the Delmarva. So what we have to be aware of on this Tuesday morning would be some areas of black ice. Remember, temperatures below freezing here. We've had some snow and the wind picking up overnight, blowing that snow around, reducing visibilities and also causing some slippery spots. So watch your step as well, because untreated surfaces will be very slippery. The wind and the cold, the major headlines for the next few days. It's rather frigid. It's not that the actual temperature on the thermometer is so outrageous. I mean, it's just cold, January cold. It is below normal. It's not record cold. But when you factor in some gusts that are going to be going past 40 miles an hour, not for 1 day, but 3 days, it's going to be pretty tough to take. It's a biting wind for the next few days. The extended forecast, we'll talk more about that system. Pretty complex. That'll happen as we go into our Saturday, and we're watching the coast rather closely. For the next few days, it's a wicked wind on Tuesday, fair amount of sunshine, 31. By Wednesday, we're blustery and cold, 29, and we're only around 30 on Thursday. That wind won't quit. It'll ease as we go into the day on Friday. So you look at the futurecast, and these wind gusts, already when we wake up, I mean, that may be your natural alarm clock. Hearing that wind whip outside could be some gusts already over 30 miles an hour, even 35 miles an hour. Then during the day, we could have some wind gusts of 45 to 50 miles an hour. I mean, you couple that with temperatures that are sub-freezing, it's going to feel like teens and single digits. We'll start the day out with single-digit wind chills widespread in our suburbs, even sub-zero well north and west, around 10 or so in New York City. And the wind chills will basically top out in the teens as we go through the day, maybe even single digits off to the north and west. At least we'll have some sunshine, just a few patchy clouds around, might be a stray flurry in the Catskills. There's your day temperatures in the upper 20s and lower 30s. Another very chilly night, Tuesday night into Wednesday morning, a low to mid 20s to start the day on Wednesday, and once again upper 20s despite a lot of sunshine. Again, still a very gusty wind on Wednesday. So a biting wind and bright skies. By Thursday, wintry wind just won't quit. It's a mixture of sunshine and clouds. As high pressure gets a little closer, our winds will ease on Friday. But then we watch our two systems, a piece over the Great Lakes and a storm coming out of the Gulf. I don't think there's a full phase here, but I do think there's a link. There is going to be a pretty decent storm offshore, and there will be a connection to that. So this may be underdone in what I'm depicting here on this particular weather chart. I think there'll probably be an area of snow. Maybe there's a little bit of a mix along the coast, a light to maybe moderate snow accumulation not out of the question, and that would be during the day on Saturday, maybe going into Saturday evening. But right now, I'm leaning against it being a major snowstorm in the area. But I can't write it off totally just yet. Still, obviously, way down the road here in terms of our forecast challenge and our ability. So we'll have to watch that very closely. So now as we go into the extended forecast, it looks like the cold is locked in, but are we dry or are we snowy through this? Again, I want to look at the steering winds here. We have the core of the cold leaving us on Thursday, Little less harsh on Friday. You see this little ridge building in and temperatures get above freezing. But there's pieces of the polar vortex that keep rotating in. So one will try to come in as we go into Saturday. And just even looking at this jet, and this is really more European model based, it's just a little flat. We're not seeing this trough dig or go negative and pull a storm up the coast. So it looks to me like in this scenario, you'd see the storm exit safely to our south. Doesn't look like a particularly strong storm offshore. This may be a little underdone, and this may be a little sharper trough here as we go into the weekend. But right now, I'm thinking that there's a pretty significant storm offshore, and we're just on the fringes of that, getting some lighter to moderate precipitation. That moves out. There might be a little moderation into early next week, but this is a pattern that promises to be below normal into the middle of the month. And you can see another piece of the polar vortex coming in, and this might be even colder than what we've seen. Maybe temperatures don't get out of the 20s for a couple of days as we go through late next week. You look at the 10-day trend, and our normal is upper 30s to around 40. So we're below normal through the stretch. There's a little moderation early next week, and then maybe highs only in the 20s on the 15th and 16th. Climate Prediction Center agrees, below normal trend right through the 20th, suggesting, though, that it's not necessarily wet, that it's a below normal pattern in terms of precipitation. We will see. You can see the precipitation threat is obviously minimal through Friday, and there's our snow threat on Saturday. Sunday and Monday would be a lot quieter. So your forecast, windy and bitterly cold, 7 in the morning on your Tuesday. Watch out for some icy roads. Feels like single digits out there, clear to partly cloudy skies. Through the day, fair amount of sunshine, but a really gusty wind, so lower 30s will feel like teens during the day with a mix of sun and clouds. Then tomorrow night down to 22, bitterly cold, feels like single digits, partly cloudy skies. So frigid for the next 3 days. Our coldest night will be Wednesday night to Thursday morning. Still below freezing on Thursday and gusty. Not as harsh on Friday. A little less wind in the afternoon, above freezing. That'll feel better. We'll be watching the coast on Saturday, see if we get some snows or maybe even a sleet or rain mix along the coast. A brisk blend of clouds and sun on Sunday. And then as we go into Monday, 39 degrees. Once again, our next threat will be on Saturday. We'll obviously know more as we get closer. But right now, even though there's some model data that suggesting that we have the potential to have a big snowstorm, at this point, I would say that that's not the most likely solution at this point, but that we would have an unsettled day on Saturday with some light to moderate snow accumulation possible, especially inland. That's the way it's shaping up. Thanks again for listening to this edition of Whether or Not. We'll see you next time, rain or shine.